the initial verse that the father searched for his son in vain, while the son wandered from village to village. So you look back at the title, we do not recognize own pure Buddha nature. So why do we not recognize? Because we are buried under innumerable piles of causes arising from our afflictions in the past. So the father searched for his son in vain. So this is like having the Buddha nature that we cannot come out because we are buried. So we arrive in a city where his father lived in search for food and clothing. And this is about searching for the truth, the Dhamma, searching for the true suchness within us. Now the father and son are both in the same city, on the same land, with the same scenery. And and this is after eradicating the afflictions. So obviously for those who are the heroes of Saravakas, they have already eradicated all their afflictions, and they understand emptiness, just like the wanderer existence they have yet to realize according to the master. So yet the son did not recognize his father, for he could not see his original appearance. So our original appearance is that supreme state that we should have, the original nature, our original nature, or pure nature, or Buddha nature. So the human life is replete with five aggregates. So how did this affliction arises? The affliction that have buried us from realizing our true self, our pure nature, Buddha nature, is because of our five interaction with our five aggregates. So the five aggregates, you probably understand the interaction as you understood from the middle view vehicle teachings on the from the Vaipuya teachings, right? And this is on the cyclic existence. So we are clear on the principles of the five aggregates. We can naturally guard against the wrongs and stop evil by keeping control of the physical conduct. So you may recall that I've mentioned a number of times that the purpose of my life is to change the character. And that's the least we can do in this lifetime as a householder in practice. So the forms in our external conditions are illusory appearances. This is our interaction of our sensory consciousness, our six roots with the dusts. And these are what we see in the externality of conditions. And all this is illusory appearances because they are every temporary unions, but they will cease in the end. Whatever arises will eventually cease. So people, therefore, actually, in a lot of conflicts that we do have, whether interpersonal conflicts, worldly conflicts, whatever the case may be, they're actually all illusory appearances and labels. Labels are titles, names that we fight for. Are going to fight for positions and things like that. So in this parable, that he arrived in the city, but this is the poor but the person where his father lived in search for food and clothing. And so in this kind of place, we seek the Dharma. So what we're looking for is looking for the true Dharma. So what we're seeking now is a clothing of dignity and spiritual nourishment. And so in very much the same way as ourselves, we want to adorn with the Dharma robe. And we need to, but to do that, we need a spiritual nourishment. And this nourishment has to come from the true teachings that we then take in into our heart. But more importantly, is to grow in our practice. So they have been parted for more than 50 years. So this metaphor, what I mean by more than 50 years. So Moses explained that each aggregate gives rise to 10 evils. So 5 times 10 is 50. So but 50 also refers to the 5 destinies. But the Master said the word more than means refers to the Asura realm, because the 5 destinies in here does not include the Asura realm. So if you include the Asura realm, obviously then will be 6, right? 6 realm. So why does the Master mention sometimes 5 realms and the 6 realms? You see, the original the Asuras, if you understand how this arose, was because Again, the asuras, they were afflicted with jealousy. So there were a fight with the in heaven, heavenly beings, and they were the heavenly king then banished them down uh, to the lower realm, which is called the asura realms. So so if you understand a bit about the formation of Mount Sumeru, at the foothill is guarded by the 4 heavenly kings, and this is one thing that they're guarding from any intrusion by the asuras. So lessons learned. The father's heart never left his son, and he always remained in the same place, which is the original state of true suchness. So if you take it from this context, the same, obviously the metaphor is referring to the Buddha, but if the Buddha nature is in us, then the original state of true suchness is in us. So therefore, the whole parable of about the poor son is about us going inside within us. So sentient beings drift about in cyclic existence and wandering. And why we're wandering? Because we're wandering outside. We do not wander inside. So all of us are in fact children of a great vehicle. So everyone is the seat of this Dharma, the seat of great vehicle. And we have always been so. And otherwise we wouldn't be encountering here in this lifetime. So when the disciples seek spiritual aspiration, when they lack its spiritual aspiration, then they will not be diligent in the practice, and they will not be able to advance without pause. And obviously, because the journey is long and immeasurable, so we need to diligently walk the path without pause. So in contemplation, teachings of the truth are for the seeker. Why the seeker? Because we need to venture, we need to embark on this spiritual adventure to find the truth. And truth, the great vehicle contains the truth, but truth cannot be revealed unless we realize it. So we need to seek. So to seek, we have different levels of our own afflictions that blurs us, and only we know. So unless we remove all these coverings, we won't be able to uncover, or rather rediscover, the truth within our original nature. So you need to venture into the universe. So where is the universe? And the universe is within your Buddha nature. So Buddha nature is intrinsically within you. So look no farther. Problem, I think a lot of us, we venture out, we look far, far away, and to look for what is and the truth. So if venture into the universe, you need not venture into the universe, but a lot of us do that. So, but not realizing when you don't need to venture, you don't need to go outside and travel around the universe as such. It's all within. So know no farther, and so venture within. So the Buddha nature contains the wisdom of the universe, and Master already said this. So seek the realization within, and because it's from that realization within that the truth can be realized. So you have all that is needed within you to realize the truth. And Master always explained that. Just like enlightened beings of the past have shown. You see, if they have not shown, we'll be very skeptical. The fact that they have traveled on this path, not just the Buddha, the past bodhisattvas have done that. And they have realized this. So therefore, it has given us that faith that we need to venture so that we can travel so without doubt. So on relationship, and this resonates with what Sister Moon said earlier about harmful relationships. The Buddha nature is intrinsically there. And so we just have to seek for that within ourselves. Those covered in darkness give rise to delusions and create karma. So whilst we realize that we are afflicted, therefore we have a lot of coverings within us, Some covered in thick darkness, and therefore we do not know what they're doing, or they claim they know what they're doing. But those who know the Dharma, they know that they are deluded, and that's the reason why they create karma. A karma of causes that will result in effects at some point in time. People at this stage are harmful friends. The harmful friends are only momentarily covered by ignorance. And if we take the view that, especially on the part that Master mentioned about when the never slackening bodhisattva, they will eventually become Buddha. And the Buddha predicted about Devadatta too. So at least become a Prachika Buddha. But these are momentarily covered by ignorance. So we also need to recognize that. And so that's the reason why we will have to create affinities. Even though people may have a bit upset us, but that doesn't mean we have to take in their defilements. So removing the ignorance is one of choice for us to make. So that applies to every one of us. No one can remove it. So whether we want to choose to remove that. So those who remain a harmful company will remain so in one's character. So you can make this harmful people. That character of one will be embedded in that because they are birds of the same feather. So those who do not choose to change themselves, but only if they can see what they are doing. And it's important to understand those last few words, because many of us, even though we may be in practice, we do not know. Okay, Kanan, brothers and sisters, thank you.
Kanan, immensely, we are immensely grateful to BrotherChin for showing us a path to realizing our